violent.
Sexy.
Very, very hot.
Terrifying.
Frightening.
Horrific.
Gory.
Horny.
Very raunchy.
Lady kissing.
Sex, blood, and violence. Rock on.
Torchwood is 9 o'clock. It's post-watershed. So it being post-watershed allows you to cover subject matters and topics which you can't go into with a family audience. A bit of blood, a bit of sex, and a bit of violence.
So it's a chance for us to get an adult audience and to tell stories that touch on the darker sides of human nature. I think sexual thoughts and sexual desire is a great motivator between most of our behaviour. Or some territory for Torchwood to go into.
Post-watershed shows like this, I think drama needs sex. It needs, because it's always there.
In Torchwood, everybody flirts with each other. It's not just Jack and Gwen. It's Jack and Owen, Jack and Toshiko, Jack and Yanto. Everybody enjoys a bit of a grope, a bit of a feel, a bit of a flirt, a bit of a kiss, a bit of a you know what. It's all good.
I think the sexual nature of the various characters is very important because it's such a huge part of people and life who might have those type of feelings for.
It's part of adult life, so you're not going to ignore it. It's an adult drama. You're going to have some sex in there to tell us where they are emotionally and what they're going through. And something like Gwen and Owen at the end of episode 6, Countryside, is absolutely about Gwen's horror at what she's seen and her inability to share it with Reese, and just the changing nature of her world, really.
We've talked all the way through about the pressure cooker environment that Gwen, Owen and everyone else are involved in. And I think that in episode 6, it's brought to the fore. Bet you thought you'd never be glad to see me.
What happens between Gwen and Owen, I mean, I think it's there from the beginning. There's sexual tension there with them and frustration with them.
Are you all right now? Or are you still feeling a bit of a cock?
I think Owen's feelings for Gwen come out at this point in the woods where they basically just tell each other what for.
When was the last time you screwed all night? When was the last time you came so hard and so long you forgot where you are?
They get to that point where they're like two kettles that are ready to just steam off, and they're in that heated moment, and boom, it happens.
They've, really genuinely faced death and really been tested. Of course she falls into his arms at the end. Who wouldn't?
So, in a way, that the whole story is designed to bring those two together.
And it's a terrible moment for her that the unrequited love that she's felt for Owen, or attraction, if not love, is going to come to nothing.
She falls for the character of Mary.
Is actually actively seducing Toshiko.
Yeah, it was like the first and second day of shoot that we did all those very intimate scenes. And hello, how do you do? And then you jump into bed.
I think if it wasn't going to be fun and it wasn't going to be comfortable, then it would have looked silly on screen. So I'm hoping that most of it will work with whatever we sort of.
First meeting about that, I said, well, just what if it's a woman? What if we change that to a woman, but barely say anything about that? Don't make it a lesbian story. Don't put issues into it. Don't have Tosh going, oh my God, I'm coming out of the closet. Just down. Let's push this story further by making it a gay relationship without making it a gay story.
Any less or different of her, because every member of the team, I think up to this point, has done something with the same sex.
And I think science fiction is very much the preserve of heterosexuality, actually. We look at it out, but shockingly so. And I'm very, very keen to push that further and to knock down.
I think violence is appropriate as long as it is to do with the story, because we live in a very violent world.
You want to understand that the violence in the stories is real and that the characters are in genuine danger.
Well, it's they're alien hunters at the end of the day, so the violence is an inescapable aspect of the job, really.
How much more of this do you want?
We are never going to get gratuitously violent. We'll always pull back from that. Not from even just a moral point of view, but I think it's boring. It doesn't make a scene sexy to see someone's nipple. It's not that. I don't think it makes a scene better, more realistic, more violent if you're seeing detail.
I think it's about a level of threat rather than a level of violence. We've been really, really careful in an episode like Countryside, episode 6, to minimise the violence shown on screen.
You see, meat has to be tenderised first.
It's not just going in and shooting somebody for the sake of shooting somebody. They trained me with to shoot guns and machine guns, and the thing that I had to do with this gun that was very different, it was a pump. And it was a pump, but because it's not real bullets, you don't have a recoil like you would normally have if you had real bullets in there. So I had to fake the recoil, but it worked out fine. That scene again, coming in, I love just shooting guns. I think that guns are very dangerous if they're in the wrong hands, but to be doing it in this situation and to pretend is just fantastic. Kind of sexy too.
When creating bullet hits or hits on people, I build pads. The pads themselves have a protective layer of sort of plastic, plastazone. Then you get the sheet of steel, and then you have the pyrotechnic sort of stuck to that steel, and then you have a bag of blood, which is obviously not real blood, and then that sort of shape, using the tape to be wrapped around the arm, and then at a predetermined point, I'm then watching and pressing the button on the firing system, which then fires the pyrotechnic, which blows a hole and the blood through the material, creating quite a bit of mess.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. Looks like somebody wants your attention.
It's time to get a bit gory, because that's what the story is, but we're never luxuriating it.
That's why there was nothing left on the body. They need to eat.
Episode 6. Terrifying. Terrifying. Terrifying.
For the episode Countryside, it's a lot of death and destruction, which we haven't really done on Torchwood before, and so we've got, as you can see, this rather gruesome character in front of us, and we've, the whole episode is just based around a lot of people get murdered in the backwoods of Wales, so all the victims are going to be our handiwork, which involves several different kind of dummies, various carcasses, people stripped to the bone, severed limbs, brains, bits of organs in jars. It's quite a nasty little piece, but it's fun.
This is our little peek into the dark corners of the human soul, and it's more horrifying than any spaceship full of aliens.
We've gone all out with the blood and gore in this one.
The prosthetics guys were great. I mean, they took the initiative that if they can't make the crew throw up, then they're not doing their job properly,
This is made from all kinds of things. I mean, literally, the inner part is a plastic skeleton. It's just bought from a medical supply house and is used as a teaching aid. So we've just taken that and added to it, and all the sinew and muscle is, it's very simple. It's just this material called plumber's hemp, which is just kind of fibres which we dip in pre-coloured latex and lay over and model into shapes, and when it dries you get the kind of muscles and tendons. And then veins are made from silicone caulking, which is what you use to seal around your bath. And then there's silicone and various casts of arms and legs that's grafted over, and it's just kind of fabricated from the ground upwards.
It was creepy seeing the body, at first laying in the woods, the one that was stripped of all human flesh, and then pouring the maggots in it. Even the maggots were running off of it. They wouldn't stay on it. That was how gross it was.
When we get to set, it gets covered in blood, so it's all wet and glistening. If you want some organs, you know, nothing ever beats the real thing, so a quick trip to the supermarket will get us some chicken fillets and things like that, which when dressed in and covered in blood look really gruesome. It's nasty stuff, but the guys will be there kind of, I'm sure, up to their elbows, splashed in blood and looking like serial killers, probably.
Screaming corpse of death!
Any scene that you see the prosthetics guy taking up a 5-gallon drum of blood, you know it's going to be a good scene, and they have surpassed themselves with probably the most disgusting, decimated corpse.
I was walking around the set when they were filming in the pub, which is a location that we did. And I went upstairs to the kitchen where Gwen finds the body lying in the kitchen, which has been stripped and eaten and stuff. And I literally walked around the corner and saw it in the same way that Gwen does. And you do just kind of go, that just looks like a half-eaten body. That's really quite disgusting.
And I mean, it was grotesque, absolutely grotesque. And oh God, it was rank.
The reactions you see on screen of Tosh, say, opening the fridge, they are absolutely genuine. Like, it repulsed me so much that I couldn't wait to get off set, you know. It was truly terrifying. As soon as I went into that stone barn, I just knew that we were in for a hell of a ride.
I walked onto the set and it was just disgusting. I was just standing there with Julie next to severed arms and hanging bodies, and it was genuinely, weirdly disturbing.
Russell and I just kept daring each other about who would prod one of the body parts first, and he went first and prodded, I think, an arm, and I prodded a foot, and it was really horrible, and we didn't really want to do it again. We wanted to get out very fast.
It was like walking into a horror movie set.
There was definitely a sense or an atmosphere in there that was quite unnerving and made me feel a little sick.
It was just like something out of Chainsaw Massacre.
There was sort of blood along the walls, along the floor, along the curtains, on the sideboards. It was just really, really affecting. And of course, after a while, it started to stink as well.
And action! Get up! And you down!
You okay? Where's Yanto? What have you done with him?
Ah! Wake up, man. Ah. Time to be bled. Wake up there. Thank you.
This is episode 8 of Torchwood, series 1, which is a murder scene that the team are called to at the beginning of the episode. What's horrific, I think, is the red of the blood against the white of the sheets. So if it was a dark carpet and a dark wall, and it somehow wouldn't seem as bad, it turns out that people who are being murdered are part of a religious group called Pilgrim. That also led me to sort of slightly sort of purity and cleanliness and holiness, and so the white sort of colours sort of lent into that a bit as well, and that's why, again, the red, dark, horrible blood splattered everywhere is a kind of really strong image, and it just sends out a really big shock, hopefully, in the first kind of couple of minutes of the film.
This Captain Jack Harkness, you did it.
You can cross the line in starting to wallow in blood and guts and gore. Sometimes is that you have to pull back and say, I see, let's make this real.
With Torchwood, at the moment, no one's really sort of said, oh, you can't do that. I mean, you can see in front of you, it's not there. I mean, where else can you go? We're stripping the flesh from people. I mean, that's extreme. You know, that's really extreme stuff. You know, at the moment, no one's stopped us, so we'll just keep going.